Hey everybody, guess what time it is? It's time to find out what happened in the real estate market here in the Treasure Valley. And to help us with that, we've got our in-house expert to go over all these charts that she put together herself. So come along. Hey everybody, Dave Edwards, Treasure Valley Dave here, Treasure Valley Mareen right there. And we're here by your side when it comes time to buy a home, sell a home, or even relocate to the Treasure Valley. And if you're going to relocate to the Treasure Valley, you're going to want to know what the market's doing. Why? Because I don't want you to pay too much. And if you're selling, I want to make sure you get every penny you can. And so we're going to turn to Mareen and find out what the heck's going on.
I was like, oh, man.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, God.
So, Mareen, you put together the numbers up through June, right?
Yeah.
What are these numbers telling us?
Numbers telling us that home prices are very stable.
Really?
Yeah. We have more inventory. We have less pending homes, which typically results in lower prices, but it's very stable.
So, I mean, we have more inventory. Does that mean we have more demand, which is keeping prices up, or?
No, we have less demand.
Really?
Less sold homes, less pending homes, more inventory.
Come on, Gavin Newsom, we need your help here. Oh my gosh.
Days in market have changed a little bit. It's not really very dramatic.
Okay.
So it just takes a little bit longer to sell.
Right. But prices are still staying about the same?
So far, yes.
Okay.
And I'm saying so far because we're still on the end of our hot season.
In more ways than one.
Yes. Whew.
Oh.
So
Which you guys notice we're inside today where it's air conditioned. Usually we're outside enjoying the weather.
It's 101 today.
Jeez. It is hot.
So,
yeah. So what about seller concessions? I'm reading, like these nationwide articles that say that sellers are giving back or negotiating more with buyers. Are you noticing that as well?
Yeah. I think sellers of existing homes need to adapt to what the builders are offering.
So builders are offering handsome incentives.
Exactly. No, it could be anywhere between $10,000 and $20,000 what you get from a builder to buy down the interest rate for closing costs. And this is something where the existing homeowner needs to kind of compete with.
Gotcha.
I think with affordability and coming up with down payments and all those closing costs, people are looking a lot for the new homes. I just had a conversation with one of our buyers. She said, you know what, I like the mature trees and I would love to buy a home that has some miles on it.
Sure.
But new construction is actually cheaper.
Right. So there is a trade-off, though, because you do get the mature landscaping and you know what the neighborhood's going to be like because it's an existing neighborhood. Mm-hmm. But with a brand new subdivision, is there pitfalls with that?
For new, it depends on, location of where your house is located. I think a lot of people I hear where they're saying, I don't want to be backed up to that field because I know that field is going to turn into homes at one point.
Right.
And how long is that going to take? So that is one of the pitfalls. And then it may or may not come landscaped.
Sure.
So there's no grass, there's no sprinklers, there's no trees, there's no shade. You have that. But on the other side, there's no honey-do list. The HVAC is new. The roof is new. The windows are new.
Very true.
So it all depends. Existing homes, you might get the bigger lot.
That's true. Okay. So it kind of just depends on what you guys are really looking for and what fits your needs at the time that you're actually looking.
Yeah. For buyers, with the inventory we have, if you're looking in a specific price range, I think we can show you 20 different homes. Easy to choose from. And I think that's great. One of them is going to fit. I'm pretty sure. Let's
say that our buyers are like first-time buyers and they have a very tight budget. Can we still find houses that are, in the lower 300s?
Yeah. There is going to be a little bit on the older side, or it could be the one that's on a very small lot, but new.
New? Mm-hmm. New construction?
Yeah. But it's like I said, it's going to be a small yard. You might not have a backyard and a small house.
But it's a way to get your foot in the door.
Exactly. So we see more like 1,000 square foot homes, which I don't think I've seen in 4 years that a builder would build a home that is less than 1,400 square foot. So they're getting a little bit smaller.
And I recently did a video on that, and that's how builders nationwide are bringing the cost of building a house down is by making smaller houses.
Yeah.
So it's a trade-off, and your first house doesn't have to be your forever house.
That's very true.
Yeah. Wow, but that is kind of tiny.
Yeah.
Especially if you got a couple books. So back to up here. Let's say that we've got some sellers watching. What advice would you give to sellers based upon the numbers that you've put together?
You have to really check on what else is out there. Who's your competitor and what's your competitor doing? And being a little bit more patient. Homes are not selling in a week.
Gotcha.
Except if it's a steal of a deal, then yes.
Multiple offers?
Yeah. If it's priced really below value, that seller has to sell, and he wants to get those multiple offers.
Right.
Buyers have a variety of homes to look at. We have our listing, and we hear that people are saying, "Hey, I have 10 homes to show." Mm-hmm. And you're competing with 10 other homes. So it's got to be right. It's got to be prepared for showing. It's got to have a good price and have something that's the other home doesn't have.
Excellent. So now let's say that we've got a buyer that is looking to buy a regular home. They're just coming up from one of those other states. And what are the things that they're going to be looking for? What would you advise them?
It really depends on what's most important to them. But I would say look at everything, what's within the price range you can afford, and then start negotiating.
Okay.
If you find the right house.
So negotiating, and that means that we know that builders right now are giving out some really very sweet incentives, like thousands of dollars worth. In existing homes, are sellers coming up and providing help to buyers? Yeah,
and some of the sellers already have it in their listings that they're saying, "Hey, I offer you $10,000 on closing cost assistant or to buy down your rate." But even if it doesn't say, every seller, I believe, or most of the sellers should be prepared for that question might come up.
Gotcha.
In a negotiation.
So I was looking at your numbers. Ada County, as usual, is on average quite a bit more expensive than Canyon County.
Yes.
In fact, I'm seeing over here, Eagle, the median price was just shy of $1 million. Wow.
Lots of high-end $3 million, $2 million homes.
But let's say that you need to be close to Boise. Is there still a place that you could live in Boise?
Oh, absolutely. I think even if we look at Boise Bench, you can be...
437.
Yep. And national average was last month 441.
Oh,
so I would say if you need to live in Boise, you want to be close to the airport, close to theater and party or college. You can.
But those let's put it like this. If you want that kind of a price, but maybe a little bit bigger of a house, a little bit bigger of a yard, you might just explore Canyon County.
Absolutely. Always a great option.
What are some of our prices over here?
So for South Nampa, which is where you live, right?
I do. It's
So
very nice.
we-
Hoity-toity.
It is ID. The median home price is $427.
That's fabulous, really.
And we have wonderful existing homes and great new construction. There's not a lot of new construction right now, especially here where you live, but
Yeah.
a little bit further west, some really great.
West part of Nampa, it's over there near Lake Lowell.
I know.
It's really pretty nice.
Yeah.
So these sheets that you put together, can people get their own?
Absolutely.
I wonder if they went to this URL right here, and you just put it in there. And you guys know too that you can get my newsletter, and from my newsletter that comes out every week, you can find the links that will get you back to this, because this is important stuff for you to know. And we update it every single month, and I think you start looking at it month after month, then you get a real feel of what the market's doing. Now I know some of you guys, you don't care, you just like seat of the pants, but we do have some people we work with are very numbers oriented.
Yeah, and which numbers are we looking at? Are we looking at hopefully home price is going to go 100,000? Then we have interest rates need to come down.
What are we seeing on that front?
I mean, it did come down a little bit.
Okay, it did.
It was
Past tense.
it's not, yeah.
Oh. But I have heard, nationally that there's pressure on the Federal Reserve to start lowering rates. And so what happens? Let's just wave that magic wand and rates do come down to the lower sixes. What's going to happen to our market?
I'm not sure if the low sixes are already going to make a big change.
Okay. And because...
I think people are really hoping we're going back to 5 and waiting for 5.
And what if you're that guy that's waiting for 5? I'm not going to move till it hits 5, 5.5.
Then everybody else is going to come too.
So if everybody else is coming, then what's going to happen to prices?
Then high chance that they could get up again.
Yikes. So it's kind of like, but let me say this, is like, so if you come in here at 6.5, buy a house, rates go down to 5.5. Do you suppose someone could refinance them?
Yeah, at one point you could absolutely.
It could very well make sense. Interesting. And did you guys know that if you have a VA loan, thank you for your service, that you can refinance without having your house reappraised and without updated income verification from you? So if you're going through a rough patch and you've got equity in your house and you have a VA loan, that might be just the way to go. If you need to know more, let us know. We got some lenders to be happy to talk with you. Wow, so this is all pretty much mind-blowing in one sense, but on the other sense, it's kind of like just the same as the numbers have been. So it's like no big change. So if you're a seller, then just be totally prepared to price it right. Depends on your motivation. Maybe you just want to test the market. Well, then we can put any price on it that you want. But if you're actually motivated to sell, it needs to be priced right. It needs to be looking great. And then also kind of be prepared for buyers to come in and asking for things like maybe they'll help with down payment or something.
Yeah. I think one part to consider is that did we talk about contingencies?
No, I don't think we have.
So we are seeing a little bit more that people are open to accept offers that are contingent.
And contingent means that the buyer has a house to sell first.
That's correct.
Ah.
It can be tricky. It really depends. So if a house is already vacant here, this person may not be as motivated to take a contingent offer than the person who is still living in the home.
Right.
So that's, I think, the first difference to make. But if somebody's living in the house and the house has been on the market for quite some time, and you are contingent on selling your own home, I would say I would make an offer. I would feel comfortable making an offer and say, hey, you know what? My people are contingent. They price the house right wherever they need to sell. And I think we can get this done in a pretty good, timely manner.
So I guess a pro tip there would be that if you're that buyer here that's selling a house there, that you do need to have your house on the market before you put in contingent offers?
It should be on the market, yeah. But it can also not be on the market for too long.
Because then it looks like, what's up with that?
Exactly. Or something where you are ready to, here we go, I just have to pull the trigger and put it on the market in 2 to 3 days.
Okay. So that's good news for sellers and for buyers in the right situations.
Yeah. And the contingency can help the seller here as well. Now they have a little bit more time maybe to look for their home too.
Right.
For the next home. They might need a little bit more time packing.
We've seen that too. So flexibility from both the seller side and the buyer side just kind of makes the whole transaction work out.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a very case-by-case situation. Every seller has their own motivation. Every buyer has their own motivation. Some may have to be here to a certain time because a job starts and they just don't want to rent. They don't want to have the double move. They might be a little bit more motivated than the one who has all the time in the world.
Excellent. So if you're not exactly sure of where you are in that, probably the best thing to do is, start talking about it with someone that you can trust that gives you good advice. I don't know, could be Mareen or even me a little bit. But you want to go with Mareen because she knows her stuff inside and out.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Mareen, thanks for stopping by the studio and giving us a little rundown. Make sure you guys get your own copies of these at this URL right down here. And so I put together this video here if you're interested in knowing kind of what else it's like to live right here in the Treasure Valley. So make sure you check that out. And here it comes. We'll see you guys on the next video.